This Black History Month is unique, I would say, this year. I heard somebody was trying to cancel it as if. My name is Fayemi Shakur. I serve as the Director of Arts and Cultural Affairs for the City of Newark. And tonight, we are welcomed and joined by our municipal council members, Council President Crump. Yeah. Councilwoman at Large, Reverend Roundtree. South Ward Councilman Patrick Council. We are also joined by our honoree this year, Noelle Lorraine Williams. And the president of the Newark chapter of the NAACP, Deborah Smith Gregory. We also have with us a representative from Congresswoman, McIver's office. We have Will DiGigante. And then after a few remarks this evening, we're gonna go outside and raise our flag. In addition to tonight's program, we have a series of programs this month. On the 19th, we have Down in the Row, the Brotherhood Edition. It's a poetry event that happens right here in the Rotunda. If you've never been, it's beautiful. It will be from 6:30 to 9:30, hosted by Queen Moore, who transforms this Rotunda space with plants and incense and sage, and poets and a band. And if you have never experienced it, I encourage you to come. On the 24th, we will have a Black History Month trivia night, a battle of the wards. I heard that some adults lost to some children and they want a rematch. So we want you to come out for that. We will have refreshments for you to enjoy. You can bring your children, you can bring the whole family. And on the 28th, we will have a vendor marketplace in the basement rotunda to celebrate our Black businesses. So we hope you will join us for programs all month long and continue to celebrate all year long as we do, right? Join me in welcoming first for remarks, Council President Lawrence Crump. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. So it's critical that we continue to celebrate our history. I think right now, we're living in a time where every moment it seems like they're trying to strip it away from us. You know, there was a point where it would be a state far, far away where that was red, and we'd say, that's horrible what they're doing over there. But now it's our country. It's the whole federal, and it's affecting all of us. And I think we need to celebrate. I was speaking somewhere earlier today about Black history and how critical it is that we continue to make sure that we celebrate our diversity in our culture, even though others don't want us to. Because at the end of the day, that's what makes our country stronger. That's what built this country. And people want to forget their history, but we're not going to forget our history, right? We're not going to forget the history that we made to build this country to what it is. The place where some people are sitting here trying to take it away were made by slaves. Were made by our people and our ancestors. So we can't forget where we come from. We can't forget that we have a lot to do to where we need to go. We can't get distracted because right now there's so much going on that we can get distracted very easily from what our agenda should be. And our agenda should be to make sure that we are included, it's not only included, but we're at the table making decisions. And I think that's what we're missing, and that's what The other day I said it was troubling times. We're in troubling times, but you know what? As a people, we persevere, and we're going to continue to persevere. Our families have fought for generations and generations and generations, and we've survived, and not only survived, we thrived. And what today is about, or what this month is about, and we always talk about Black History Month, but it's year round, is that we need to make sure that we do not allow others to take away from us. And so I'm happy to be here. I'm so glad that Fahima reached out and said that we were going to do this program, because we have to celebrate. And we have to celebrate in a city that is majority African American, Black. We love all cultures, but let's be, this is a majority Black. And so if we don't do it, who will? So I'm happy to be here. I'm glad we're celebrating. I'm here with my council colleagues. I know Fahima mentioned Councilwoman Louise Scott Roundtree, who's sitting where I normally sit in the back of the room. and our councilman from the South Ward, Councilman Patrick Council. And I know I saw a representative from Councilman Kelly's office in the back. And I believe that's it from the council side. But we're always here to be happy to celebrate and continue to support our families, our community, and to make sure that we have a brighter and better future. And I want to again thank Fahima for what she's done today to put this together and all the programs for the month. God bless.
I'd like to bring up Councilwoman Reverend Roundtree. As we celebrate Black History Month, we're also celebrating our present and our future. Black futures, right? Do you have? Sure.
I want to, come on, Council, y'all all should be up here, but we got to come back because there's a presentation going to be made later. Come on. So I wanted to do something different. I wanted to, of course, thank Fahima and Michelle and all of you that are here gathered to celebrate our history. Rather than do what I normally do, I'm going to pray a little bit different because something was written for Black History Month, and during this season, I believe that this prayer should be shared. Spirit of abundance, God of grace, Mother of hope, we pause now to remember those stories that are all around us, but so often passed over. Those stories that when told are shared because of what someone is, not who they are. This month in our nation's character is Black History Month. Help us to realize that Black history is all of our histories. May the day come when these stories are so widely taught that no month need to be separately divided. We know this day will not come until we as a people make different choices. We pray now that for those new choices, may we come to see a day where the prison system becomes redemptive and not punitive. A day where the legal system learns to focus more squarely on the facts and not the colors of our skin. A day where our schools are well funded as the needs demand. May our role models be allowed to excel when they thrive and not be taken down for their rich heritage. We know this will require a shift in power, and this can be scary for some. Give those full of fear hope. May we come to know grace so that our hearts will not be hardened to the pain around us. There's so many beautiful stories needing to be told, and we need to get the chance to hear them. Widen our vision so that the history that is shared with this month and every month come to be known as our history, everyone's history, the history that God created for us. We are most human when we see the humanity in others. So we thank you, God, for this moment to stand here in the halls of the city, to stand in a building that you created, to stand in a city that's diverse, to stand in a city where the African American culture is realized, recognized, and we thank God that we have a mayor and a municipal council and a Fahima Shakur who recognizes and realizes that Black history is American history. So God, we pray for our young people that they will pick up books and begin to read some of our history. Go to Audible, listen to our history. While they're trying to remove books, that they will create some new history. So now, God, be our strength through these very difficult times. Be our strength, our peace, our comfort. And as we celebrate the history of all of the inventors, all of the creators, all of those of African descent, we come to celebrate you and thank you for being our creator. In the name of some who call you Jesus, some call you Allah, some call you Yahweh. But oh, once again, we thank you for the creation of the African American people. And this is our prayer. Can I get an amen? Y'all can clap, it's okay.
I want to say good afternoon, first and foremost, to each and every one of you who are here today to celebrate the kickoff of African Ancestry Month, to all of those who paved the way that led it, to Fahimi, who is always at the forefront of arts and culture and education in this city. I want to thank her for her guidance, the mayor who understands the importance of celebrating the diversity of this city, but more importantly, celebrating who we are as a people and how far we have come. And so as we stand here today, it is important that we don't forget our history and know who we are. For it was James Weldon Johnson who wrote in, which was a poem that later became a song called Lift Every Voice and Sing. In one of the verses he wrote, he says, sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. And so that was so incredibly important because it always wants us to examine and look at where we have come from to where we are now and where we need to continue to go. And so let us not get lost in all of the things that are happening in this world today, the struggle of African American people on this diaspora and on the continent. For it was Sheikh Anta Diop who said that you cannot study any view without studying the African view, that there is a connective tissue to everything that spurs out in here. And so we have to understand the movement of who we are as a people. And if we ever forget that, because that's what the struggle is all about, getting us to lose our culture, our mores, and our folk ways to be able to assimilate into what we believe that this world has for us. But if we look at the strength that we have, we can recognize that we are stronger together, and we've always been stronger together than apart. And so I'm thankful that we celebrating all of these activities and commemorations throughout this entire month, and encourage us to continue to do it, because now more than ever is the time for us to really understand and get back to the basics of who we are fundamentally as a people, fundamentally as a cultured people who understands that our history just does not lay of where we come from and how we got here in 1619, but it lays all the way in places of Ghana and Songhai and Mali and great civilizations in which we have come to be kings and queens. And also we have traveled this place in a Mayak civilization and Olmec civilization. Our history is so rich and so connected that even when people want to get rid of DEI or want to get rid of the things, then they have to stop doing some of the things that connected us in that place. And so if you don't want to say let's celebrate Black history, then you might as well turn off the television, because we invented it. If you don't want to celebrate Black history, then you might as well turn off the lights, because we invented it. Because if it wasn't for Lewis Latimer, who invented the filament for the light bulb, you wouldn't be able to see anyway. If you don't want to be able to celebrate what we're doing, then there's a whole cadre of things that you may have to stop doing. And so let us not forget our progress, let us not forget our struggle, and always remember, wherever there is struggle, there is process. There's unity in struggle. So God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for this commemoration and flag raising on today.
Amen.
Don't make us mad. We love to be fired up, and we love our people. I'd like to bring up Deborah Smith Gregory from the Newark chapter of the NAACP. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. As it was stated earlier, Black history is American history. Since blacks were stolen from the shores of Africa and brought to the United States, our presence has been interwoven with this country. Slaves built America with free labor. The theory of slavery was that blacks were less than human, inferior to whites in every way. We could not freely travel, marry, or learn to read because it was viewed as a weapon against our ignorance. We were divided by degrees of color. Our nuclear families were destroyed as children were separated from their mothers, husbands from their wives. This is one reason why we embrace the concept of extended family and village relations. We have been in a battle throughout our history in America. Our history is glorious and painful. We have consistently embraced the country that brought us here against our will. We are not the immigrants who came looking for a better life. We were brought here for one purpose: free labor. We have endured slavery and risen above the white supremacy theories that fueled the violence of the Reconstruction era with its white vigilantes and paramilitary mobs, also known as the Ku Klux Klan. We have endured oppressive black codes, Jim Crow segregation, massacres, lynchings, and bloody baths for wanting to be treated as a human being and later the right to vote. Despite mass importation of our humanity from 1619 through 1860, the horrific mass atrocities that occurred from 1865 to 1877, and the animalistic treatment of blacks during the civil rights movement of the 1950s through the 1960s. Through it all, we have shown our strength, our resolve, our creativity, ingenuity, innovativeness, our intelligence, our excellence. We have prevailed. We have been courageous in the military. We have been master craftsmen, inventors, made groundbreaking scientific discoveries. We have excelled in sports, created genres of music called spirituals, jazz, blues, and hip hop. We have documented our beauty and struggle in essays, poems, and dissertations. We have used our oratorical skills to free our people and invoked a revolution leading to radical changes in America's political system. We have built America, and it would not be the most powerful country in the world without the contributions of the black people who were stolen from Africa and brought to America. We are the fabric of this country. We are the conscience of this country. We are the spirit of this country. Lest we forget, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 have been the foundation for other groups who benefited from our struggles. Yet, we have been brainwashed as far back as 1619 to believe we are inferior. And as cited by Tom Burrell, who is the author of Brainwash, challenging the myth of black inferiority, we have been conditioned for at least 300 years to believe black is inferior and white is superior. We have unconsciously passed that belief down through the through the generations, embedding it in our DNA. This big lie has been the most effective psychological social experiment of all time. We cannot allow the brainwashing propaganda to desensitize us to our importance in this country. We have battled to overcome throughout our history, and we must continue. Much has changed, but much has not. The struggle continues, and so must we. We must eliminate the negative propaganda cues and replace them with positive propaganda prompts to help prepare our minds to rethink, challenge, and unplug from the big lie. We are to transform our minds and to not buy into the narrative of inferiority when there is proof of our positive impact. The ignorance of that narrative is a weapon for control. Let's transform our minds and stand proudly on our ancestors' incredible strength that is still within our DNA. So some anecdotes to end that mental slavery that's listed by the author Tom Burrell. Recognize and acknowledge that you have been brainwashed. Use your mind and think for yourself. Do not go along with the brainwashing program. Stop looking for other races to do for you. Do for self. Demand accountability of our leaders, be they preachers, teachers, politicians, or entertainers. Don't settle for seconds. Be first class, a first class citizen, consumer, parent, business person. Be outraged at white on white injustice, but be more outraged at black on black injustice. And understand you are the center of your own control. You don't need permission. You are a self-appointed leader. And lastly, our vote is one of our superpowers. Our collective has always had a tremendous impact and made a difference. When we came out en masse to vote for President Obama, we made a difference. And we thought that we were then in a post-racial society and our work was done. Wrong. The 2024 election of the current president stems from the backlash of having a black man in the White House. When we stayed home in 2010, we made the backlash stronger. We have to keep our hands on the plow. We knew we had to come out again in 2014, and we made a difference in that outcome. We did not come out in 2024. And now we are reaping the consequences. Our votes do matter. We must all vote in every local, state, and federal election. Please don't go along with the brainwashing that your vote does not matter. We have to keep our hands on the plow. Like Langston says in Freedom's Prow, America, land created in common, dream nourished in common, keep your hand on the plow. Hold on. If the house is not yet finished, do not be discouraged, builder. If the fight is not yet won, don't be weary, soldier. The plan and the pattern is here, woven from the beginning into the warp and woof of America. All men are created equal. No man is good enough to govern another man without that other's consent. Better die free than live slaves. Who said those things? Americans. Who owns those words? America. Who is America? You, me. We are America. To the enemy who would conquer us from without, we say no. To the enemy who would divide and conquer us from within, we say no. Freedom, brotherhood, democracy. To all the enemies of these great words, we say no.
Excellent. That's what we call Black excellence. Yes. I'd like to bring up Councilwoman Roundtree again, and also Will Digante, representing Congresswoman McIver's office, and Noelle Lorraine Williams. Noelle Lorraine Williams is an artist, a curator, a public humanities expert, a historian, so many things, a public art artist as well. She has murals throughout the city, exhibitions throughout the city, and she also serves as the director of the African American program for the New Jersey Historical Commission. She is our honoree this year for 2025 Black History Month. Give a round of applause.
So Fayemi sent us this very long 1 second of your life because the whole thing could not fit on one sheet of paper. It's something special to be honored by the Newark Municipal Council. I went to present something on behalf of my president and my colleagues a couple of days ago, and they said, it was Pastor Ralph Branch. He stood up in the church and he said, you know, they really vote on these things. They're not just something we decided to give to someone just because we wanted to just give somebody something. You've had to have been a significant mover and shaker in the community, and that you are. And so I'm going to, let's see, Council President think he's slick. He said, you go ahead. I said, which one of y'all want to read this? He's like, you go ahead. I was like, no, you go ahead. Come on, President. You and the pastor going to come over here and present this resolution, and I'll do the second honoree.
You see how she switched up on us? I'm telling you, it was. It was slick. Yeah. I will say this. To me, it is an honor to present resolutions to individuals who are deserving of this honor. I say this about street dedications, and I say this about resolutions. Everybody doesn't get a resolution. To me, they're an important part of our responsibility to honor those in our community that are doing great work. It is something that my mother would always say, is that, and this is something additional, which she would like to say, and it's funny, I heard somebody played a message of hers, and it's the first time I actually heard her voice since she passed, so it was quite interesting. It was a voicemail message she left for someone, and she was singing congratulations to that person about an achievement that they occurred, and they played it for me. And when I heard that, and sitting here and standing here now, I just think of what she would say and how she would be, as she would say, tickled pink to see, even though she was a Delta, tickled pink to be up here to honor you with this honor from the council, from the municipal council. And so with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to councilman to actually read, if he so chooses, because it's you know, as the councilwoman said, you know, this is a part of you, but there's a lot of words on this page. But it's true, it is indicative of who you are. Because if there were 3 words on this page, quite frankly, we may not be up here talking about you. But because of what you've done in the history and what you've provided for our community, just want to say congratulations, and we honor you today with this resolution from the Newark Municipal Council on behalf of all of us who are here and who aren't here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, all right, now we're going to give it to
I'll read a couple of lines so that we can recognize you properly. We, the members of the Newark Municipal Council, would like to take this opportunity to recognize Noel Lorraine Williams. Lorraine Noel Williams is the director of the African American History Program in the Black Heritage Trail at the New Jersey Historical Commission. The program developed and administers the first statewide New Jersey Black Heritage Trail, develops new statewide programming, research, and resources for African American history and historic sites in New Jersey, as well as the histories of other people of color, awards, works, and recognition and collaborations on statewide conferences, initiatives, and projects. The African American History Program champions and partners with universities, historical societies, schools, and other institutions and groups and individuals in a collaborative statewide effort to develop African American history in New Jersey. So that is a whole lot. I wanted to read some of it so that we can grab a scope, and this is presented to you today on behalf of the entire Municipal Council for your work, your love, and dedication to not just your people, but to the works of the entire diaspora and the continent of Africa. God bless you.
Director, can you come over for 1 second, please? So I have this document here from a young man that always wants to make sure his official congratulatory remarks are here in the building. And I'm a little torn because I don't know what to do right now because I'm looking at him right in his face. And it's kind of hard, sir. But I'm gonna go ahead and should I just go ahead and do this? Okay, there you go. Yes, you represent somebody in the house, you want them to say it's okay. So, his official congratulatory remarks to you, Noel, on paper that you can take with you. And it reads, as Mayor of the City of Newark, it is my pleasure to honor and congratulate you as we celebrate you during our Black History Month flag-raising ceremony. Mayor Baraka states, I applaud you, Noel, for your diligence and devotion on every level. You have made strides and you've made us proud. He says, we're also proud to acknowledge you for the many contributions that you have already made and will continue to make, and for the strong foundation of ethical values that you are building and will continue to build on this journey as you represent all of our history. He states, I know you will continue to be an inspiration to us all, and that your greatest days are in front of you. The mayor states, may God continue to keep the gift that you are, and not just for humanity, but all of our race. Once again, congratulations, and may this day be a most memorable one. And this is from the Honorable Mayor, Raz J. Baraka. God bless you.
Will, we have one more for you.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Will DeGrande. I'm here from the office of Congresswoman LaMonica McIver. I'm so proud to be here on behalf of her as she's down in Washington fighting the good fight day in and day out. So we also have a certificate for you, Noel, so I'm going to read a little bit from it. I am pleased to congratulate Noel Lorraine Williams on her lifelong contribution to the arts, culture, and history of the state of New Jersey. Under her leadership as the director of the African American History Program and the Black Heritage Trail at the New Jersey Historical Commission, Noel has been at the forefront of creating new resources for African American history and the curation of historical sites in New Jersey. I would also like to commend Noel on her invaluable role in creating research and programming resources to tell the histories of other people of color, as well as those in the African American community. Throughout her career, she has collaborated with universities, historical societies, schools, groups, and individuals, all in an effort to develop African American history in the state of New Jersey. I would like to thank Noel Lorraine Williams for her lifetime of public service and her vital role in the creation of the historical landscape we currently know in New Jersey. I wish her continued success in her many current and future endeavors. Sincerely, LaMonica McIver, Member of Congress. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Well, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're welcome.
And many thanks to everyone. I'm just going to make a couple of remarks. I apologize, I'm getting over a cold. All praises to my ancestors who migrated from South Carolina and Boston to New Jersey only 3 generations ago. Thank you to my professional forebears of Newark and New Jersey history, including Mr. Giles Wright, whose position I now occupy at the New Jersey Department of State under Governor Murphy and Lieutenant Governor Tahisha Way. And of course, Dr. Marion Thompson Wright and Dr. Clement Price, who championed Newark's history to the country. Also recognizing the importance of the work of Newark Public Library librarians who have passed, Sandra West and James Brown, in preserving and researching Newark's Black history and culture. And of course, my dear beloved friend, Jerry Gant. Gratitude to the Honorable Mayor, the Newark City Municipal Council, historian Junius Williams, and my friend Fayemi Shakur, Arts and Cultural Affairs Director for the City of Newark. And always gratitude to my partner and girlfriend, Sharon Denise Davis. I am so happy to be here. I live only a few blocks away, and I often walk these streets at night and note the changing flags here at City Hall, wondering what do people think as they drive by and walk by them. It is so important to see your culture represented in a public forum, in the streets, whether you are LGBTQI, Haitian, or even Mexican, in a culture that refutes and challenges your claims to American citizenship in the press, education, and through the law. Yes, I love the streets. I am a city girl. Growing up, I loved sitting on the porch, listening to stories, watching folks go by, riding on my uncle's shoulders as we walked blocks and blocks. But as a Black person from where I'm from, you are not supposed to love the streets, especially as a woman. In movies, television shows, and later music, you learn the streets are a place of violence and fear. Especially when you've lived where I've lived, near Communipaw Avenue in Jersey City or 16th Avenue in Newark, where I come from. Yes, the streets may be sites of violence, like when we sat on the porch one night listening to the most fascinating, beautiful stories of my cousin's wife, as she would tell us tall, tall tales about life. And then we were shocked when we heard a man chasing his son down the street with a hatchet in his hand, yelling, "I will not have any faggots in my house," while his son screamed and begged. I was 11, scared, and couldn't understand why no one would save him. But violence doesn't just happen on 16th Avenue in Newark. It happens across America, in churches, malls, suburbs, and now schools. But it also happened in the founding of this town, Noun City, when the 3 colonial settler shooters would stand across the street 1 block away from here, on top of the roof of the church, on lookout for Native American surprise attacks while they were in a church service. But we still celebrate the founding of this place, despite its roots in violence. We cannot concede our public spaces and community stories to solely narratives of fear and domination. We must promote and amplify transformative stories in the streets as well. This is our truth. We see it in our families, like my family right here, business owners and community workers. We must be awake to our histories and awaken others. Then, as in now, it is important for us to control the narrative of the histories of our communities and the streets. Television, social media, cinema, and music will promote an agenda of fear because their profit relies on the fact that you are afraid to go outside and be in community. Like just outside this door, who remembers the African American Heritage Memorial Day Parade? Does anybody remember that? Oh, okay, good. The streets then were stacked with bands of people, folks from Florida marching, barely could get a spot on the street at one point. But until a few years ago, I did not know that African American organizers formed the Crispus Attucks Parade. Who knows Crispus Attucks? Okay. Crispus Attucks is the Black and Native American man who became the first martyr of the American Revolution when he died in the Boston Massacre. In 1967, 3 months before the Newark Rebellion, this parade in his name had 12,000 spectators commemorating our connection, our Black liberation heritage to the revolution. How could this gathering have actually influenced the folks' understanding of community and influenced the Newark Rebellion? Next year, the country and the state will be marking the complicated colonial settler legacy of this country. And it is my mandate that we commemorate New Jersey's Black liberation heritage at the New Jersey Department of State that spans from even before Attucks until today. This is not a DEI myth. It is real history, y'all. I am committed to history being told, not just in the classroom, but in museums like the Newark Museum of Art that now has an exhibit in the Ballantyne House about the Black women in Newark who in the 1800s fought against slavery and for their civil rights. Or I proudly promoted with the state's first Black Heritage Trail, marking African American resilience for more than 300 years in this colonial settler territory. Or what does it mean for someone standing in front of the chicken shack on Market to know that a Black woman and her children were sold there? Or that a few feet away, 300 years later, a 15-year-old lesbian was stabbed for not letting a man tell her what to do? And you know what? Hundreds of people would come out to protest the hate against lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people in that same place. Or in that same spot, hundreds of years ago, before Black women dressed in white marched down this avenue, Mayor Kenneth Gibson Boulevard, dressed in white, protesting lynching throughout this country. Or that even in this same location, a Black woman who fought to win the right to vote for all women had a rooming house right on Mulberry Avenue as she traveled across the state to get support for women to have the vote. Can y'all imagine that? And can you imagine the millions of other stories we don't know? The power of history in public art is to reimagine false narratives and radically imagine future ones. It is the opportunity for you always to change your life and community. But it doesn't work alone. It works with policy, religion, medicine, and economics. It all comes together hand in hand. Like the women of Kenny Hospital who trained to be nurses when Newark hospitals would treat them but would not train them, or the school Amina Baraka would create in Newark, named after one of the earliest black schools in the country in the 1800s. You see, history and public art demand that you must hold complexity and depth simultaneously. Please understand, I love the streets, and my hope is that we all can love them, walk them, and learn their stories, because that is the only way, and I repeat, the only way to truly be human. Happy Black History Month, 99 years, Dr. Carter G. Woodson. Peace, and thank you.
Mayor, would you like to say anything? Yes. Mayor says Happy Black History Month if you didn't hear that. But we're gonna go outside and raise our flag. That sound good? All right, put your coats on, let's go. Thank you everyone for being here.
Sign is on to Wall Street. 17, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Facing the rising sun of our new day. March on.